How would it feel if you had a YouTube ads cheat sheet straight from Google Ads' mouth, giving you all of the best practices you can use as an advertiser to make sure your campaigns are set up for success to get the most amount of conversions possible at the profitablest amount possible as well? In this video, I'm going to go over exactly those best practices with you. So sit back, relax, give this video a thumbs up, and let's jump right in. So first things first, why are these best practices important? Well, advertisers that follow these best practices for their video action campaigns drive over 50% higher conversions per dollar and 40% higher conversion rate. So if you want to have 50% higher conversions per dollar and have a 40% higher conversion rate, then listen to all of these best practices and then implement them at the end of this video. So first things first, let's start with launching. Okay, so when you're launching campaigns, what are the best practices to follow? To set your campaigns up for the best success, conversions and budget best practices are minimum requirements for optimal performance. Bidding, audience, and creatives best practices are highly recommended. So Google Ads is saying to us that we need to follow conversion tracking and budget at the very minimum to have optimal performance. So let's start with tracking. The very first step to any successful YouTube ad campaigns, even before creative, is proper tracking. So Google Ads recommends using web conversion tracking, Google Tag Manager for accurate tracking, and optimize your desired conversion event. In addition, to also track lighter conversion actions, for example, add to cart, to provide more signals to our machine learning algorithms and as a result, achieve your desired conversions faster. So step one, make sure you have Google Tag Manager set up to track your conversion actions inside of your Google Ads account. This is very easy to set up. This can be done in like less than an hour. And you also want to track lighter conversion actions with Google Tag Manager, meaning specifically if you're running a book a call funnel, for example, where you have a landing page that has an opt-in to a VSL to a application to a Calendly, that kind of funnel. You want to make sure you don't just optimize for booked calls, right, all the way down the funnel, but also top of funnel conversion actions or lighter conversion actions, as Google Ads is saying, such as leads, opt-ins, okay? Especially if you have high ticket book a call funnel, webinar, or some sort of even sales page, sales funnel, right? Where you have a product. You want to make sure you optimize for even, add to carts or checkout page to get conversions faster and achieve your desired conversions faster. So conversion tracking is very important. Now, before I keep going here, one of the best tools you can invest in for your business, especially if you sell info products, online education, high ticket offers, low ticket offers in the online education space, or even e-commerce, call funnels, everything that we do at adspend.com for our clients, it would be highly recommended that you get Hyros as your tracking software. This is by far the best ad tracking software in the industry. This is a shameless plug for them. We are a Hyros agency partner. There's only about 5 of them in existence. We are one of them, and we don't work with clients unless they invest in Hyros for their business, because that's how good it is, okay? All of our clients are on Hyros. The reason why is because if you don't use Hyros, here's an example of what it could look like, okay? Google Ads will tell you that you have 4 conversions in this one campaign, for $43 cost per conversion. This is a real client account, by the way. This is a screenshot that we took after implementing Hyros. And in reality, Hyros is able to track 16 sales from this campaign at a cost per sale of $10. Now, why is that? Because Hyros links and integrates to your payment processor, such as Stripe or EasyPay Direct, whatever you use, Google Ads conversion account and tracking in your Google Ads account, as well as your email provider, whether it's ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, whatever else you're using, as well as your payment processor, email provider, Google Ads, conversion tracking, and your sales funnel, okay? So all those data points that come into all types of sales funnels out there that can get lost and have the data not feed back to the proper campaign like this, Hyros will pick those up. So for example, if I were to, just go off this data, I'd be like, okay, this campaign's performing okay. In reality, it's performing really good. We need to spend more. And this one, for example, says that it only has 1 conversion tracked at $278 per conversion tracked. I would have easily paused this campaign had I not used Hyros. And then there we go. Sales is 14 sales at $19 cost per sale. Okay, so this one's obviously way more profitable than this is what's saying right here. So if you don't have Hyros, you're going to be flying blind. You're going to be spending money on campaigns that are not profitable, and ultimately you're not going to be making as much money as possible. Hyros can actually save you money. That's how good it is. So I would recommend that along with Google Tag Manager. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. You can click the link and go see Hyros for yourself. It'll give us credit, so thank you in advance for using that link in the description. Let's move on to budget. Okay, so budget. Set a daily budget that is at least 15x target CPA for target CPA campaigns and 10x the expected CPA of your max conversion campaigns to accelerate campaign ramp up. So when you're going to launch campaigns for the first time, okay, one of the very most common questions I get is, Brian, how much should I spend on my starting budget? How much should my starting budget be, right? And here's Google telling us that if we're going to use target CPA campaigns, target CPA, to quick refresh everybody here who's learning this for the first time, target CPA means I'm telling Google I want this conversion for this much, and that's how much I want to spend for that conversion. So if I want a lead, okay, someone to opt into my funnel, I want a lead for $10, okay? I can set my target CPA bid for $10, and I'm telling Google I want leads for $10, right? Which is Google telling us, okay, if you want leads for $10, you have to have a budget of at least 15x that. So we'll pull the calculator real quick. If we want leads for $10, then we need to have a budget of 15 times that per campaign, which is $150 per campaign. Okay, you can see here why, again, YouTube ads is a scaling platform. Okay, you have to have a lot of budget to be able to really be able to maximize this platform, right? Which is why you can't just get away with $100 per campaign and just have one campaign running. You can, but I'll get into why that might not be the most advantageous. So you need at least $150 for TCPA campaigns, and then 10x the expected CPA of your max conversion campaigns. Max conversions bidding is, hey Google, I want you to find as many conversions as possible for me at whatever price you can. I just want as many conversions as possible. Max conversions. Give me a maximum amount of conversions. And they're saying that if you want max conversions, if you use max conversions, you have to have at least 10x your target or your max conversions. 10x the CPA expected of your max conversions campaign. So 10 times 10 equals $100. Okay, so again, if you want to have 5 campaigns to start, you need at least 100 times 5, which is $500 a day. Okay, so obviously use that with your own guidance, but if you don't follow this budget, again, these are the minimal requirements, you will not have optimal performance. A lot of people always experience their campaigns stop spending, their campaigns not spend at all, or no data being acquired in their campaigns, which is lack of those other two, and they're wondering why. Well, because they don't have the proper amount of budget set per campaign. Now, we usually recommend to start with max conversions, especially when you start your campaigns for the very first time. The reason why is because if you don't have any ads in your account, you don't have any data in your account, you don't have any conversions in your account, telling Google you want leads at $10 without any data historically is going to be very hard to start spending. It's going to take a lot of time, and ultimately it's just not going to be optimized well, okay? I would recommend starting with max conversions, which is good news because then that means you can actually have a smaller budget because again, the calculator is 10x. So if you want leads for $10, all you need is, 2 or 3 campaigns at 10 times 10, which is 100 times, 3. You can start with 3 campaigns, $300 a day, 3 times 300 times 30 days in a month is about 9 to 10 grand per month, right? So if you're selling a high ticket offer for $5,000 to $10,000, that's pretty reasonable. And again, if you want to scale with ads on YouTube, you got to have a budget stockpiled aside. Regardless, the budget needs to be 15x target CPA for TCPA campaigns and 10x the expected CPA of your max conversions campaigns. So use that as your guiding principle. Come back to this video whenever you're launching campaigns and rewatch that to follow Google Ads best practices for YouTube ads. Again, these are the minimum requirements. Now, let's get into bidding, okay? Start with TCPA bidding. So Google Ads is basically telling me to go F myself right here, and they're saying you should start with TCPA bidding. However, in our experience, max conversions is going to be easier to start with. It's going to spend fast, and ultimately it's going to get you data quickly, okay? And then you can always switch to target CPA once you have at least 30 to 50 conversions per campaign, okay? We always recommend starting with max conversions for the reasons I described earlier, right? If you know your video CPA, so again, start with TCPA bidding if you know your video CPA. In my opinion, this is what Google's telling you basically to, if you have an idea of what you want or you have historical data showing you what your video CPA is, you can use that. I don't think you should. Again, use this UI CPA guidance to determine CCPA for video. I don't know what that is. I've never used that. Just being honest with you guys, we don't use that. We don't need to use that. We could use it, but I've never used it. And we spend $2 million a month on YouTube ads, all right? So we know what we're doing. And here it says, if your primary goal is to drive as many conversions as possible through a flighted campaign, I don't know what a flighted campaign is, start with maximize conversions bidding. So use your best judgment here. We use maximize conversions to start, then we switch to target CPA. This makes more sense for us. You can use your best judgment for the best practices here, but that's my recommendation. Now, let's get into targeting. Okay, so once you have tracking set up with Hyros and Google Tag Manager, once you have the proper amount of budget allocated to your starting campaigns, you've chosen your bidding strategy, now it's time to get into targeting. Who are you going to target? What audiences should you start with first? This is always a very common question that a lot of people have with YouTube ads. So Google's saying to start with either custom audiences, search terms, or remarketing or customer match or similar audiences, and opt in to optimize targeting to show your ads to more people who are likely to convert for custom audiences. We're likely to convert. For custom audiences, search terms, use 10 to 15 of the highest converting search keywords, okay? So this is exactly what we teach in our targeting timeline. So if I go to my targeting timeline right here, and I pull this up, this is our adspend.com targeting timeline that we always show for clients when they're starting their campaigns from scratch. You can see here, okay? So we always start with remarketing lists first. The reason why is because it's low-hanging fruit. People who are already visiting your websites, your funnels, your Facebook ads, whatever it is that you have that you can make a remarketing list of, you start with that first because they're your lowest hanging fruit. Then you can go to your YouTube audiences. Obviously, YouTube ads is really good because if you have a YouTube channel, you can show your YouTube ads to anybody who's liked a video of yours, watched a video of yours, shared a video of yours, commented on a video of yours, added a video of yours to a playlist of theirs on their YouTube channel, and anyone who's watched your videos as ads, etc. So it's always important to start with these two first because they're low-hanging fruit, remarketing lists and YouTube audiences, and then go into custom segment search, just like it's telling us right here. Now, again, I put a whole video together on YouTube explaining targeting. If you go to youtube.com, Brian Moncada targeting, and then I'll put it up here when you're watching this video, so you can click on it right now. YouTube ads targeting guide for 2023. This is 21,000 views so far in the last 5 months, updated to the new targeting changes for YouTube ads. So now once you have your tracking set up, your budget set up with the right bidding strategy and the right allocated budget per campaign, you've now chosen your targeting following Google Ads best practices right here. You can then go into your creative, okay? 80% of your success with YouTube ads is determined by your creative. What Google is saying here is to add site links to your campaign and or ad group and run multiple creative variants, okay? At least 5 if possible, at least 5 ads if possible. Start with 5 ads at least, changing up the call to action button, headline text, or core video asset, following these tips to optimize creative effectiveness. So here's their tips to optimize creative effectiveness. Number 1, having a clear call to action. Use clear phrases such as learn more, sign up, or buy now. Front load your offer. Hook attention in the first 5 to 10 seconds with a problem statement and how your product or service solves it. Last but not least, repeat what you're offering. Repeat the call to action and ensure it's echoed in the voiceover and superimposed graphics. Here's a pro tip. Monitor performance for 7 to 10 days before making optimizations. So for your creative, the very least takeaway you have to run away with is at least 5 creatives if possible in each of your campaigns. Now, if you are a part of our free school group, which this is a shameless plug, you should join, especially if you want to scale with YouTube ads. We have a free school community called adspend.com. It's a community for high-ticket coaches, course creators, and agency owners who want to learn how to scale with YouTube ads. In our classroom, we give you our entire YouTube Ads Accelerator Creative Mini Course, which gives you our high-level breakdown of offers, funnels, creating scalable offers, our VSL framework. We also go into our creative brief section, script writing 101, creating your ads, and we give you our script template. Our script template gives you your first 5 YouTube ads, especially if you already are running YouTube ads. You can use this script template to be able to create your next 5 YouTube ads. It's all plug and play. You can answer questions in step 1, answer questions about your offer in step 2, copy and paste those answers into the hook generator for step 3, and then copy and paste your answers from step 1 and 2 into step 4. And then finally, you have step 5 to copy and paste all those answers into your scripts and have your first 5 YouTube ads ready in 30 minutes or less. It's copy and paste simple. All you got to do is answer questions in step 1 and 2, copy and paste your answers in step 3 and step 4, and then copy all your copy in step 3 and 4 into step 5. And boom, you have your first 5 or next 5 high ROI YouTube ads using our proven 7-figure YouTube ads script template and swipe file, which again, you can get for free by joining the adspend.com community. The link will be in the description. So this is per best practices on YouTube ads, and that's the first launching and establishing performance. Now, let's get into if you're already running YouTube ads. So once you have your ads launched, again, the next tip, do not touch anything for at least 7 to 10 days. Monitor performance for 7 to 10 days before making optimizations. A lot of people that we teach YouTube ads to in our mastermind or in our free group that ask us questions about stuff, they're too emotional, which is why you have to have enough budget, which is why this is very important. You need to have enough budget stockpiled to be able to run and test YouTube ads for your business, because you need to give Google Ads enough time to optimize your campaigns. Okay, so after 7 to 10 days, now let's go into getting more conversions and scaling your campaigns. All right, so after you've established performance, after you've launched and established performance, follow these best practices to expand your campaign's impact. Advanced best practices are recommended for the following campaigns. So, core best practices. Campaign is optimized per the core best practices. We just went over those. If you didn't, for whatever reason, watch the last 15 minutes of this video, go watch those, because we just gave you the best practices to be set up for success. Now, volume. This is very, very key. Please write this down. Get a pen. Write this down. Generating at least 5 conversions per day for at least 14 days, okay, for the last 14 days, which means your campaigns need to be getting at least 5 conversions per day, which is why this budget is so important, okay? This is so important because if your campaigns aren't generating at least 5 conversions per day for the last 14 days, they're not going to be able to optimize and scale. They're not going to be able to scale, which is why it's so important to have your budget. So again, if you want leads for $10, okay, and you're using max conversions, you need to have 10x your target CPA for max conversions, which is $100. Out of $100, if you're going for $10, let's say worst case you get $20 leads, that's still 5 conversions per day. So that's why it's good, because your campaigns are still optimized for best performance. They have enough volume in each campaign per Google Ads best practices. If your campaigns are not getting at least 5 conversions per day, maybe you're optimizing for only booked calls. Optimize for a lighter conversion action, a more top of funnel conversion action, which is opt-ins. And then you'll achieve the number of conversions per day Google Ads recommends for you to be able to scale your campaigns. I cannot emphasize this enough. Make sure your budget's enough, and make sure you're getting as many conversions as at least 5 per day per Google Ads best practices. So write that down, implement that in your campaigns immediately if you're not already. Now let's go into budget again. If a campaign is budget constrained, increase budget, okay? Meaning that if your campaign says limited by budget, that's usually a good sign to increase the budget. Now, follow budget expansion recommendations under campaign settings in Google Ads interface to understand expansion opportunity. Sometimes campaigns will say limited by budget. I don't know if I have a picture of this. I don't. I blurred those out for safety reasons, but sometimes your campaigns will say, hey, this campaign's limited by budget. This is typically a good thing, okay? It means your budget is constrained, so they want to spend more money to be able to find more audiences. There's more people that can obviously opt in or book a call with your campaign, and that's usually when you want to spend more money. It's not always the case, but a typical recommendation is just to follow it, especially if you follow the best practices, all right? Now, if you want more help with that and you need more hands-on help, you can obviously look into applying for our mastermind, where we review your ad account on a weekly basis and help you specifically with your campaigns for your info product business, online education businesses, high-ticket coach, course creator business. We'll help you out in that case, okay? Now, audience, okay? Audience. Ensure that at least one campaign in the account is targeting in-market audiences, and if your campaign has demographic targeting layered, then remove the demo layering in at least one ad group per campaign. I'll be honest, I don't exactly know why they're recommending this. I mean, they're basically saying one of your campaigns should at least be doing in-market audiences as one of your target audiences, which that makes sense. But then it says, and if your campaign has demographic targeting layered, which all of them do, because you want to specifically select who your target demographics are. If, for example, if you're selling how to get chicks for 18 to 24-year-olds, you're not really going to run that to men who are 60 plus that are probably married, right? So you're probably going to have demographic targeting layered. But it's saying then remove demo layering in at least one ad group per campaign. I'm assuming this is just because Google Ads wants us to only go after, for example, in-market audiences, and then just remove all the demographic. Just give all the demos, just give all the demos to us, and we'll just find anybody. But again, I could be wrong. If you have any specific suggestions on that, put them in the comments down below. I could always be informed on what that means specifically. That just, to me, means broad targeting. Go more broad, which makes sense if you want to scale. Remove any sort of demographic layering that you're excluding or whatever, and just go as broad as possible. Now, inventory. To capture conversions efficiently, simply activate Google Video Partners under campaign settings. So I want to show you what this means. So you go to, for example, advanced settings. Here we go, additional settings. Where are we at? There we go, networks. Video Partners on Display Network, that's basically what it's saying. Okay, so Video Partners under campaign settings, Google Video Partners. Well, they're already on there, especially when you're creating a YouTube ads campaign. So who knows if that's something else, but that's what it's saying. Go as broad as possible. Open this inventory for us so you can make more money. Okay. Now, measurement. Uncover the role video played in your customer's conversion journey using attribution reports in Google Ads. Optimize your conversions based on their full value by selecting data-driven attribution for all conversion actions. We use Hyros, so again, Hyros feeds that data back to the campaigns with their offline conversion events, and you should just get Hyros. Now, creative. Use video experience to identify the best performing creative strategies for evergreen creatives and consider ad optimization. I'll be honest, we've never used video experiments. We've never used them. Even reading through this guide of how to use them, it's a little bit complicated. And, ultimately we have our own best practices and, a creative process to testing, measuring, optimizing, and scaling creatives for our clients that we've dialed in over the last 3.5 years. I'm sure that I could get some more information from video experience to see how it works, but I trust our process. That's something that if you guys have been experimenting with, let me know in the comments down below if it's been helpful for you. We've never used it, but Google's saying if you want to expand your creatives to even identify even better creatives, use video experiments. So something that I'll put on the back pocket to learn for us as well. Last but not least, discovery campaigns. Again, we're on capturing more conversions once you've launched. Discovery campaigns. Capture even more conversions by running discovery campaigns in conjunction with video action campaigns. Discovery campaigns, if you go to our free group, again, and you go to the very first module, I talk about discovery. I talk about the whole entire, the whole entire Google Ads suite, okay? YouTube ads is the new TV. YouTube ads are the new TV commercials. Google Ads display and discovery are the new billboards, okay? Google Ads discovery and display are the new billboards. So Google Ads equals search, display, discovery, shopping, and video. You can do all of them in Google Ads. YouTube ads are great for brand awareness and lead generation. Google Ads, search, display, and discovery are great for remarketing middle of funnel. And if I go to my Figma map over here, let me just zoom out of here and go back to the Google Ads ecosystem and show you what that looks like. In our Google Ads ecosystem, you can see that you have YouTube ads, but you also have access to Google Discovery and search ads right here. So Google Discovery ads look like this. They follow you around on any website you go to, whether it's in your Gmail, on YouTube, or some sort of third-party website. And Google Ads is recommending as their best practices to have those as well, which we do recommend after you've launched your YouTube ads to get conversions from remarketing lists. People that have visited your funnel but didn't convert, show them discovery ads and get them back over to book a call, all right, or to make a sale. Now, we went over, okay, stick with me here, we're almost done. We went over the best practices to launch and why they're so important, especially with your budget, conversion tracking at the very minimum. Now we've went into capturing more conversions by broadening out your campaigns, expanding your budget, expanding your audiences, expanding the inventory, making sure you're measuring the right conversion actions, making sure you're expanding your creatives, as well as adding discovery campaigns. And here's a tip before we keep going: run campaigns for at least 4 weeks to gain up to 15% higher efficiency. Again, you can see Google Ads is just pre-framing here, okay? Make sure you have enough budget. Make sure you're running for at least 7 to 10 days before touching anything. And then make sure you're running it for at least 4 weeks to gain up to 15% higher efficiency, because you need to give Google Ads time. This is their best practices. Too many people are too quick to start making small changes to their campaigns that they don't realize are actually going to lead to astronomical results, whether good or bad, in the next 3 weeks. But they're making changes because they're too emotional with their budget, they're too emotional with their business, and they don't understand how the YouTube Ads, Google Ads platform works. This should give you that realization. You need to give Google Ads budget, and you need to give Google Ads time to optimize for the conversions that you want. If you don't have time, you don't have budget, you probably shouldn't be running ads in the first place. You need to have at least $5,000 to $10,000 stockpiled, especially if you sell a $5,000 to $10,000 high ticket offer. per month, okay? So now let's go into troubleshooting and optimizing tips. Troubleshooting and optimization tips. So this is a very good guide for everybody out there, including myself, who we run campaigns that are getting great cost per conversions. They're scaling, they're working, everything's going well. Then all of a sudden they fall flat on their face and they just start dying. Why? Well, here's why. Okay, so for TCPA campaigns specifically, after any change, monitor performance for 7 to 14 days before following these optimization tips for TCPA bidding. So whenever you change anything, monitor performance for 7 to 14 days before changing more things. That's what they're saying. So here's a scenario number 1. For example, let's say your campaign is underspending and hitting target CPA. So the cost per acquisition is good. It's on target for what you're trying to optimize for, leads for $10, but your campaign's underspending. Let's say it's $100 a day, it's only spending $50 a day. So here's what Google Ads recommends. Recommendation: expand audiences. Number 1, opt in to optimize targeting. Click the button optimize targeting, which then spends more to people that are going to be more than likely to convert to your ideal audience as well. So basically expand your audiences by clicking on optimize targeting. Number 2, create ad groups for new audiences to manually find users more likely to convert, or add an ad group that has no targeting, giving target CPA the widest possible audience to capture conversions. Okay, this is good. So number 1, expand your audience by opting in to optimize targeting. So if you have a campaign that's running right now, targeting custom segment search audiences with 10 to 15 keywords, and you're saying, okay, this is working, but it's not spending enough. Maybe it's too small. Maybe my audience is too niche. Well, then you can go into your ad group real quick and click on optimize targeting. The way you'll find that is if you go to your ad campaigns. I won't show you in this video. It'll take too long, but there's a button you can click inside your ad group that says optimize targeting. It'll expand your audiences, and that'll give your campaign more room to spend because your audience might be too narrow. Right now, number 2, create ad groups for new audiences to manually find users more likely to convert. So add a new ad group, add audiences into that new ad group to find more people. Again, this is another way to expand your audience. It also says, or add an ad group with no targeting. Just go as broad as possible. Because again, you've launched with best practices, right? You've set your campaigns up with the best practices following Google Ads recommendations. You've scaled out the audiences. You've broadened out the targeting. You've broadened out the budget. You followed everything that we went over here. And now it's saying, okay, now let's go broad. Let's go broad, baby. Let's spend budget and go broad. Go no targeting, just demographics, and just give TCPA, target CPA, the widest possible audience to capture conversions. Now, the TCPA bid, okay, so for your cost per acquisition bid, increase cost per acquisition bid. Slowly increase the TCPA bid in 10 to 15% increments to improve delivery. All right, so scenario, if your campaign's underspending and hitting target CPA, expand your audiences and then increase CPA bid slowly. But again, this should be done, right? This should be done first. This is their first scenario. Now here's a pro tip. Add site links or try different ad variants, changing up text, headline color. I mean, yeah, you can try that. And that's not gonna do as much as this right here for sure. Now let's go to scenario number 2. Let's say your campaign is underspending, but overshooting target CPA. So it's spending out of $100, only $50 a day, but it's getting you $25 leads and you want $10 leads. So recommendation here is change audiences. Number 1, opt in to optimize targeting. So it's telling you, hey, click on optimize targeting. Number 2, create ad groups for different audiences to optimize for users more likely to convert. Again, this one's saying expand audiences. This one's basically saying the same thing. Change your audiences if you're over the target CPA, because people in this audience obviously aren't going to budge. Now, optimize for upper funnel. Use campaign level conversion setting to optimize toward an upper funnel event. If you're optimizing for booked calls only, optimize for leads. Okay, optimize for leads. This will get you a less conversion, a less cost per acquisition, because leads are going to be cheaper than booked calls. Now, CPA bid, maintain CPA bid. Ad delivery should increase with expanded audiences. Okay, so Google Ads is saying not only should you expand audiences in scenario number 1, you should also increase your target CPA bid as well. Now, if your campaign's underspending but overshooting target CPA, you should change audiences, optimize for leads or upper funnel event like add to cart, and just maintain your CPA. So all you're going to do is change the audiences or optimize for an upper conversion event if your campaign's underspending and overshooting target CPA. Now, let's go into last scenario. Scenario number 3, campaign is spending but overshooting target CPA. Campaign is spending but overshooting target CPA. So out of $100 a day, it's spending $100 a day, but it's still at $25 cost per acquisition. and you want $10 leads. In this case, the recommendation is to narrow audiences. If current audiences are fairly broad, consider layering on audiences that you believe may be more likely to convert. So you can add in layered audiences to your campaign. Let's say you're doing no targeting. Add in an in-market audience. Add in a custom segment search terms audience. Add in some sort of in-market audience, or I already said that, but like affinity audience, whatever the case may be. Now your CPA bid, okay? Decrease CPA bid. Slowly reduce target CPA bid in 10 to 15% increments while monitoring conversion volume. So narrow your audiences if you're overshooting your target CPA in your campaign spending, and then decrease your target CPA bid. And here's a pro tip: implement enhanced conversions to increase conversion rates by 7 to 25% and better equip your campaigns to handle shifts in the measurement ecosystem. Okay, now that's target CPA campaigns. So if you're having trouble with target CPA campaigns and you're experiencing any one of these scenarios, now you have the best practices to optimize those campaigns for better performance. Let's get into mass conversion campaigns. Remember to wait 1 week, 3 to 7 days before optimizing campaigns. Then use these tips to improve the performance of your campaigns. And this is so powerful. I'm just shouting out to the Google Ads gods real quick, because every single time we recommend our clients, whether it's in our mastermind or it's, clients that we're running ads for, they're so quick to try to change things after just 2 to 3 days. And I can't stress this enough. If there's one thing you take away from this video, besides all of the value I'm giving you here in this guide, reading it for you, explaining it for you word for word, give me a thumbs up if you haven't already. Give your boy some love, man. This is 30 minutes going on 35 because it's so good. It's that they're too quick to change things, and I keep telling them you need to give it at least 3 to 7 days before you really change anything. And here's Google Ads telling you this themselves. So I hope if you're watching this and you've listened to this before and you've heard me tell you this, I'm not telling this for no reason, okay? At least wait 3 to 7 days before optimizing campaigns. Then use these tips to improve the performance of your campaign. Okay, so scenario 1, max conversion campaigns. You're getting no conversions. Recommendation: ensure Google Ads conversion tracking is set up properly. Make sure you're actually tracking things properly. Your leads, your opt-ins, your booked calls, right? Make sure your tracking set up properly. Okay, if you need help with that, again, you can apply to join our mastermind. We have our entire YouTube ad setup guide for you. It's step by step. You can click the link in the description and join the admin mastermind and see if you're a good fit. Expand audiences by adding new ad groups for customer match, similar audiences, or in-market audiences. So if you're getting no conversions, maybe your audience is too small, expand your audiences. Now, consider a lighter conversion event or extending the conversion window to better align with the time from view to conversion. So if you're optimizing for booked calls, optimize for leads, right? Because it takes longer to get a booked call than it does to get a lead. If you're only doing like a 7-day window, maybe try a 30-day window. So if you're getting no conversions, those are the 3 recommendations that Google Ads recommends. Now, scenario number 2, max conversions isn't spending any budget, which is very rare, by the way, because again, it's a more aggressive bidding strategy. Remove audience layering and opt in to optimize targeting. If it's not spending any budget, that means that your audience just isn't big enough or just applicable. So just remove any audience specifically and just go for optimized targeting, whoever Google Ads thinks is going to get the best conversions for you. Now, scenario number 3, CPAs are too high. You're using max conversions, but your cost per acquisition is too high. It's $30 and you want $10 cost per leads. Remember, it can take 7 to 14 days for auto bidding to reach efficiency, which is why you need to be patient. You need to be patient. You need to have a budget. You need to have a budget. You need to have emotional grit. You can't be emotional. Got to be disciplined. If CPAs are still too high after 7 to 14 days using max conversions, consider a lighter conversion event or extend the conversion window to better align with the time from view to conversion. Create ad groups for different audiences to find more users likely to convert, add site links, or test different ad variants, changing up text, headline, call to action, or video itself. My takeaway here, guys, is that if your CPAs are too high, it's probably because you haven't given it enough time to optimize like it's recommending here, or it's a good audience, but it's not the audience that's going to get you those cheap cost per conversions. Obviously, if you have 4 other campaigns in your account and your overall cost per acquisition is good, you can keep this one running because it may be higher, but it may be a higher quality lead as well, higher quality call, higher quality client, etc. So those are the YouTube ads best practices for today's algorithm to help you launch your campaigns with the most successful setup possible, optimize your campaigns, and scale your campaigns to the furthest heights you ever thought imaginable. And number 3, how to diagnose, troubleshoot, and fix your campaigns that all of a sudden stop spending, are spending too much, or ultimately aren't performing at the best possible rate you want. My name is Ramon Kala. I'm the founder of adspend.com. If you want to watch another video just like this on targeting, where we go in depth on the most updated targeting for YouTube ads today, then click this new YouTube ads targeting guide for 2023, and I'll see you there. Cheers.